Hello friends, Mandar here, back with another video. Today I'm going to talk about 10 options that international students in US have after they complete their graduation. So I'm talking about options available for international students who are on F1 visa in the United States and what options do they have after they graduate with master's degree. Some options are obvious but others are really interesting. I suggest you watch this video until the end as you will be surprised what all options you might have after your graduation. So stick with me until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration videos for US and Canada. I also make some fun videos from time to time. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Now let's get started. Now let's say you are an international student on F1 visa in the United States. You have something called CPT, Curricular Practical Training, that you can use during the course of your studies. But after you graduate, you have the post-graduation OPT, which is Optional Practical Training. This is an obvious choice for everybody who is doing master's degree in the United States. You contact your university office and apply for Optional Practical Training. That is available for every student after they graduate. So that's option number one. Now once you complete your 12 months of Optional Practical Training, what are your choices? Now option number two is for STEM students. What is STEM? It is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. If you have your postgraduate degree in any of these subjects, then you may qualify for OPT STEM extension. Eligible non-immigrant students on F1 who graduate with STEM degree have an option to apply for optional OPT, which is for 24 months. It is specifically given for STEM students. This is offered in the form of EAD by USCIS, which is Employment Authorization Document, which is specifically for this STEM extension. It is a great option for the students to stay in the United States for up to 3 years, which means first year of your standard OPT and 2 more years of STEM OPT extension. So that in total becomes 3 years after your graduation. So this is an obvious option for STEM OPT students that graduate. There are certain things that you must be very careful about during this STEM OPT period. You should not accumulate more than 90 days of unemployment during the post-graduation OPT program. And then the other one is you only qualify for one STEM OPT extension. If you have used it in the past, you don't qualify for it again. Option number three, and this is another obvious one, is H1B. So once you complete your graduation, you get your OPT. As soon as you start your OPT, you should look for an employer who would file for your H1B. Now if you graduate in a fall semester or a spring semester in a certain year, and if you get a job on OPT, your earliest possible chance to apply for an H1B is the following year by March 1st. And this is called CAP subject H1B. It is very critical for you to choose an employer who would be willing to file your H1B in the following year. The reason is you cannot sponsor H1B by yourself. And then the second thing is H1B is a lottery system and you may or may not get selected. But here is the good news. Since you have just completed the master's degree from a US university, you have much higher chance of getting that H1B through the lottery system. You have about 55% chance, more or less, to get an H1B in the first go. And even if you don't get selected in the first round of H1B process, you still have 2 more years to apply. The reason is you have in total of 3 years of OPT, including the STEM extension. So technically you have up to 3 years to apply for H1B in the CAP subject quota. So relax, you have a high possibility of getting an H1B in 3 attempts. Now what you still don't get the H1B in 3 attempts? Tough luck. You should consider not buying a lottery ticket. Just kidding. You still have some more options. So here's option number 3. You might be married to an H1B holder. You can make a change of status to H4 and that way you can stay in the country. H4 option is a great option. The reason is that you may be qualified for H4 EAD, which is an EAD based on H4 visa under certain circumstances. I have made a special video and you can check it here. H4 EAD will be able to provide you with opportunity to continue your work. Option number 4, going back to F1 visa. I know it sounds tough, but many people who have high aspirations to go to higher studies may consider this as an option. Say for instance, you have completed your masters, you have tried out one job on OPT, and you decide, okay, I need to go back to school to get my PhD or any higher education. You can do so by going back on F1 visa. You may also be eligible for another OPT in this situation. This may not be an option for everyone, but people who are pursuing higher education may have an option to go back on F1 visa. Option number 5, CAP exempt H1B petition. So what am I talking about? You want to hear about this option very carefully. The reason is H1B is typically a lottery based system. H1B is cap subject as there are limited number of visas available every year. But there is an exemption for petitions that are filed by non-profit organizations, higher education institutions that are engaged in research or government work. So for these institutions, they can file H1B petition which is cap exempt. This means you will not be counted towards any of those cap limits for a year. So you will always have H1B visa number available. Now this is a great option for people who are in the university and still working in the university. There is a possibility that they may file your cap exempt H1B. For this option, I suggest you go through a qualified lawyer. Option number 6, L1 visa. Now how do you do this? This is also a very interesting option that you might want to consider. So while on your OPT, if you are working for a company that has international presence, which means they have offices outside of the United States, you may be able to negotiate a work arrangement with your employer whereby you will be able to work for their office outside of United States for a period of more than 1 year. What this will allow is you may be able to come back to United States on L1 visa, which is intra-company transfer visa. So L1 visa is an option if you are working for a company that has international presence. You might want to consider this option. Option number 7, Canadian permanent residency. I know this is a little bit unusual option, but I would highly recommend you to consider this. Canada has a very streamlined PR process. While the immigration system in the United States is becoming more and more difficult for immigrants, Canada has opened its doors for immigrants. Their process is much more streamlined and you can do it yourself. So I would highly encourage you to consider Canadian PR as an option for you after your graduation. I have made several videos regarding Canadian immigration and different pathways to obtain Canadian permanent residency, and you can check that video out here. Canadian option will not only give you a permanent residency in Canada, but it will also put you on a path to citizenship within 3 years. After you obtain your Canadian citizenship, you may choose to live in that wonderful country, or you may choose to come back to United States on a TN visa. A TN visa is much more easier to obtain and it does not have limit on extensions. Besides, many multinational companies in the US have a presence in Canada, and they may allow you to work from Canada in the same job that you are doing. So this might be an option to consider. Option number 8, O1 visa. So what is a O visa? You have exceptional skills or talent that has obtained you national or international recognition. It could be in arts, music, athletics, sports, etc. But you have an exceptional talent in it, and this visa may be for you. You may also be expert in your field of study through qualified PhD, and this may also be a qualification for O visa. I would recommend you to go through a qualified lawyer to see if you qualify for O visa, and then you can do a change of status from F1 to O. So this might be an interesting option for you. Option number 9, J1 visa. J1 is work and study based exchange visitor program. Your institution should be accredited with exchange visitor program. This may be an option for people from certain countries, and if you happen to work for an institution that has this arrangement with exchange visitor program, this is an interesting option as well. And option number 10, you might be surprised that this is an option as well, but let me tell you, with self-petitioning green card, this is an option for you. So what am I talking about? So after you have done your master's degree and you have been on OPT and STEM OPT, you have accumulated some experience, or if you have done PhD and you have done a lot of research, you may be eligible for something called self-petitioning green card. There are two options for it. One is EB1, employment based 1A category, which is EB1A, which is for exceptional ability. And then the second option is through EB2 NIW, which is national interest waiver. I have made a separate video for self-petitioning green card application, and you might want to check it here. This is also a great option, especially if you have completed your PhD and you have accumulated some skills and interest, and you have acquired some special skills that are in the interest of the nation. So self-petitioning green card is option number 10. With all these 10 options, I think you have an option that will fit your needs and your qualifications. I hope this video is beneficial for you. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. And I will see you in the next one.